on the powder. We're running low. Your mother's relatives. Quickly. Almost $100. Your mother put it up for you. Cal, she was a thrifty woman. Mine, you'd be the same.
Don't talk, pal. Hold them off.
Too many of them. Now, you listen to me, son. A man that won't face fact when he's got to ain't worth his salt. Now, use the tunnel. Take the Spanish horse and make for Boonesboro and get to Daniel Boone. Your mother had kin there, Baltimore. And Dan will help you locate them.
I'm not going to leave you, Pa.
That horse. That's all I've got to give you. I think his lameness can be fixed. And he may be of some value sometime. Take good care of him, son. And maybe someday he'll take care of you. Son, we've had our times together. Now, get out of here while you still have a chance. Get going. Come on, boy. Get going. Cal. Take care, son.
I'll come back with help as quick as I can, Pa.
Daniel Boone, what a doer, what a dream comer true was he. From the coonskin cap on the top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the redmanest, glorious, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Oh, Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. Oh, Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. Daniel Boone was a doer, what a dream comer truer was he. Daniel Boone, Daniel Boone.
Mr. Boone! Mr. Boone!
What's wrong, son?
It's Pa, Mr. Boone. Shawnee jumped us right after daylight.
Shawnee?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 of them. Pa got some before he was hit, but he's hit awful bad, Mr. Boone. I'd have gotten here quicker, but Gideon's still pretty lame.
Do you want me to go to the fort for help?
There's no time for that, Becky.
But Dan!
It's all right. It's likely just some renegades looking for what they can steal.
Dan Calvin's just a boy. You don't know what you might find.
Caleb Trevor's his father, Becky. There's something a man has to do, even a young one. He'd never forgive himself if he didn't go back. Javed will take care of his horse. Come on, son.
Yes, sir.
Stay here, Cal. can find him, son. You made it to your tunnel somehow.
He's dead? It was all Gideon and I had, Mr. Boone. We were going to do so many things together. I shouldn't have left him.
Cal.
Pa said Gideon would be faster than any of them once we got his limp cured.
And that's a chore you can finish, isn't it?
It won't be the same now.
No. That's the way your pa would want it.
I want to see him.
Believe me, Cal, I know what's best. Something to remember, Cal. Nothing ever ends. It's always the beginning of something else. Why don't you go on down to the creek and wash up, get your wind back? I'll be along directly.
Mr. Boone. He always set store by the shade of that big old tree over there.
Can't think of a likelier place, son.
Dan, are you still at those letters?
Well, I'm almost done.
Think you'll be able to locate Calvin's folks?
Caleb Trevor didn't leave much to go on. I doubt if he heard much from his wife's people after she died. And they may be a little difficult to locate after all this time.
I'm worried about that boy, Dan. I was thinking, if you say so, we can keep him here with us.
We could, and we will, if it comes to that. But he needs his own kin, his own blood. He needs to belong. There's no way we can give him that.
Just concerned about him, that's all.
You know, if I'd give you leave, you'd mother the whole world, Becky Boone. Now, don't worry about Calvin. He'll make his own way. And that's best.
Gideon, come on. You got to try. You got to put your weight on it. You're favoring it too much, boy. Now, come on. Come on.
Pa always says animals know what's best for them.
Please, Gideon. You got to get better.
Cal? That's the finest looking horse we've seen in these parts.
Well, he'll be the fastest, too, in the whole country once that leg of his mends.
Well, I reckon he would be if all four legs were sound.
They will be. Pa said they'd get well.
Did he, Cal?
Well, he said he thought the lameness could be fixed.
How long ago was it those drovers left him with you?
Almost 14 months, but he was getting better.
And he was lame when they left him?
Yes, sir. But it was that ride over here. I rode him as hard as I could. It sure didn't do that leg any good.
Well, he's got a bowed tendon, Cal. After 14 months with no real improvement, it's doubtful if he can be cured. The drovers knew that. And right now, that tendon's mighty inflamed.
But Pa said that... Wait, isn't there somebody who could get him well? I've got $100. I'd be...
And that $100 is for your schooling. I couldn't let you do that. I don't mean there's no hope. We can try, and we will. Right now, he's got a fever in that leg. And that's the first thing we've got to take care of. So, Cal, what do you reckon would draw that heat out of that leg?
Do you think his leg can be fixed, Pa?
Well, we can try, Israel. Cal's got all of his hopes wrapped up in this horse.
Anything I can do to help?
Yes. Yes, you can. You can go ask him off some rags, and then we'll get some mud and some herbs, and we'll make poultice.
Yes, Pa.
I've got to tell you, Cal, the chances are pretty slim. I think you ought to face that now.
Yes, sir. What'll happen to him, Mr. Boone, if he can't be cured? I mean, will we have to do what they they do to horses when they break a leg.
There's no point in worrying about that now. Just pat that on the sore part, Cal.
Yes, sir.
It'll strengthen the tendon. It's strong. It'll burn for a bit.
Burn?
It's all right. It's got to be done. Gonna need a little exercise to keep him stiffening up. A little more each day until he gets his strength back in that leg.
Yes, sir. Well, you want first, Israel?
We're gonna make him the fastest horse in Kentucky, the Virginia, and the Carolinas, too.
Well, like your pa says, we're sure gonna try.
You're doing real good, Pa.
Good. Inflammation's gone down. You can start riding him a little in a few days. Give him his rub down.
Yes, sir. Come on, Gideon. Oh, Gideon.
Sure seems like he wants to go. Think we can let him out a little bit more?
No, not until your pa's really sure that leg is healed. Now, come on, it's my turn.
What do you think, Pa?
Well, looks like you got him warmed up enough. Let's take a look. See if all that work paid off. What do you think, Cal?
Looks good.
Yeah.
How is it?
Sound as $1.
You sure?
See what he'll do.
I'll give you a mark, Cal.
All set, Gideon?
Come on, Cal. Come on. Come on, Gideon. Come on, go. Go, Gideon. Come on. Come on. That way, Cal. Right up. Come on, Cal.
Attaboy, Gideon. Come on, come on.
You know, Dan, another time in another place, you might have been a real sport.
Yeah, might at that. It's quite a bit of horse for that boy.
Calvin's quite a boy. And you did a proper job on that animal's leg.
Yeah, if it holds up, you can't tell about one of those things. But you put it to the test.
Oh, I almost forgot. Cincinnatus gave me this as I was leaving the fort. Came in on a trader's wagon.
Come on, Gideon. Come on. Come on, Cal. Right out. Come on.
Cal! Israel! Cal!
Dan, are you sure Calvin will be all right?
Becky, I won't leave him in Williamsburg until I'm sure he's in the right place.
Well, I want to thank you for everything, Mrs. Boone. I'll never forget it here.
You're always welcome to come back, Cal.
Thank you.
Maybe your aunt and uncle let you come back for a visit before winter.
That'd hardly be fair, Israel. They have quite a bit of getting acquainted to do.
Spring then?
Well, I'll sure try.
Where's your money, Calvin?
Oh, I have it right here.
And you make sure it stays right there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, so long, Israel.
You watch out after the place, son.
Okay, Pa.
Bye, Becky.
Bye, Dan.
Bye.
Bye.
may be here 2 or 3 days, Cal. Long enough to find somebody fit for you to travel the rest of the way with. How would it strike you to sleep in a real bed tonight?
It'd strike me fine. And, no fault to your camp doing, Mr. Boone, but a kitchen-cooked meal go pretty good right now.
I think we passed a stable back there. Why don't you see to Gideon? I'll go find the landlord.
Thank you. Pardon me, sir. I was wondering if I could stable my horse here.
I'm not the proprietor.
Oh, is this gentleman over here the proprietor?
No, he is not. He works for me.
Is there a racetrack around here?
Look, boy, we're busy here. Why don't you run along?
Mr. Landers.
Well,
You interested in racing your horse, boy?
from the looks of the animal, I'd guess the answer was yes. Well, yeah, tell me, boy, have you ever raced your horse?
I've never even seen a real race, not like that one, with the jockeys and fancy duds and all.
Oh, it's the spectacle of a lifetime. The sport of kings, you know. And those fancy duds, as you call them, are racing silks. Every stable has its own colors these days for pride and identification.
Of course, it takes money, you know. Entry fees and all.
Oh, well, all I've got's $100, but I'm sure that Gideon could beat anything.
Whipper, show the lad our colors, eh? Whipper, there's my jockey. And my name is Landers. Jeremiah Killingsworth Landers.
How do you do, sir? My name's Calvin Trevor.
The pleasure is mine, young man. And where are you from, that you've never shared a sportsman's finest hour?
Boonesboro, sir. Boonesboro, Kentucky.
Daniel Boone settlement, huh? Well, that explains your ignorance of the finer things of life.
Let's just see how that cap fits. How's that?
Right, smart. Yes, sir. Come here, Whipper. Look at the lad. He makes a fine-looking jockey, eh? I envy you, boy. What you got to look forward to.
Gideon, eh? Belong to your pa?
No, my pa's dead, sir. Gideon's just about all the family I got left.
I'm sorry to hear that, my boy. Splendid animal. Splendid. But if you don't mind my saying so, a pretty poor way to keep him.
Oh, well, we just came off the Wilderness Road. You should see him when he's all brushed up good.
He's bred to run all right.
I'd sure like to see him let out once.
Mr. Landers, how much is that entry fee?
Now, you don't want to waste your money on a gamble like that, my boy. It's a fine-looking horse, sure, but it takes more than looks to win a purse, you know. Yes, I'll never forget my first purse. Your heart jumps right up here. The wind is like music in your ears, and the shouts of the crowd are all for you. You hear the ladies calling out your name, and then that moment of victory. And the fine fat purse to line your pocket. It's a mighty thrill, boy. A mighty thrill.
Looks as if he'd been lamed up pretty bad for a spell.
Oh, that's too bad. A fine horse otherwise.
Oh, but he's all mended up first rate now. He can run as good as ever.
Against a champion? Like Lady's Choice there?
Oh, no, it wouldn't be fair. Not with a game leg like that.
Oh, no, I'm afraid it wouldn't be fair at all. Pity, though. An untrained horse like that would fetch long odds. What would you say he'd bring, Whipper?
Oh, against Lady's Choice, I reckon about $5 for every one wagered.
5 to 1? Well, I suppose he would.
Mr. Landers, you mean if I wagered $100, I'd get $500 back?
If Gideon won.
Oh, but Gideon can beat any horse.
Hardly, son, with a handicap like that. I'm sorry, but it's my duty to tell you, as a man of honor.
Oh, but please, Mr. Landers, I know that he can.
Well, now I must say I admire your spirit and your confidence. If you're that determined, I hardly have any choice, do I? Whipper, give the Spanish barb of young Master Trevor's a rub down and an extra baited rein. Calvin, you step this way, and we'll just attend to the details.
But, Mr. Boone, my pa said that Gideon would take
He
care of my
wouldn't want
school.
you to get it that way.
But, Mr. Boone, don't you realize...
And I'm sure he wouldn't want you to risk all the money you have in the world.
But Gideon won't lose.
Cal, You've never even seen Lander's horse race, and chances are you've never seen a horse race. And yet you're willing to put yourself up against a man whose business is horse racing.
Please, Mr. Boone, I don't think I've been cheated. I was the one who wanted to race.
I'm sure he made it seem that.
But I know that Gideon will win.
Excuse me, sir. This is a private club for gentlemen only.
Oh? Well, you have a gentleman by the name of Jeremiah Landers here?
Mr. Landers? Who shall I say wants to see Mr. Landers?
There he is. Mr. Landers?
Well, friends of mine, O'Connell, what can I do for you, young man?
Mr. Daniel Boone, Mr. Landers.
The famous frontiersman, Mr. Boone. It is a pleasure.
That remains to be seen. You are the gentleman that enticed this boy into wagering every penny he has, aren't you?
Mr. Boone, I beg your pardon, but those are harsh words.
Just plain talk, Mr. Landers.
Did Calvin tell you I enticed him?
No, but as a matter of fact.
And since you weren't present, you're making a total assumption. The wager was made in good faith, Mr. Boone, on both sides. At the young man's insistence, I was scrupulous about that.
Well, I'm sure you were, Mr. Landers. I know you're kind. You dangle the bait in front of a fish, and when he bites, it's his idea.
I resent your tone and your implications, Boone.
I don't blame you. Now, are you going to return this boy's money, or are you?
You mind your manners, mister? Boone, I fail to see how any of this concerns you.
Daniel Boone, what are you doing in Williamsburg?
Squire Breen.
What a pleasant surprise. The Turf Club is honored.
Calvin Trevor, Squire Breen, an old friend.
How do you do, sir?
Pleased to know you, son. Is there some problem, Daniel?
Well, there won't be if this gentleman will return the money he took from this boy.
Took, Daniel?
Yeah, he called it a wager.
Squire, I protest this indignity, and on club premises.
Gentlemen, there is no need for public display. Will you follow me, please? Would you excuse us, please? We have a private matter to discuss. Sir. Thank you. Would you close the door, please?
Squire Breen, I am not accustomed to this sort of treatment. I realize this man is a friend of yours, but frankly, his inferences and his accusations cannot go unchallenged. I demand an explanation.
All right, Mr. Landers. Suppose you present your case.
Well, it's very simple, Squire. The lad here has a horse he fancies. He importuned me at the stables, and taken by him and by his horse, I foolishly, it seems, agreed to a match race.
With a $100 bet. A professional jockey and one of the fastest horses in Williamsburg.
At 5 to 1 of my own money, Boone. Show me anything wrong in that.
If Mr. Landers is guilty of anything dishonest or dishonorable, the Turf Committee is empowered to permanently bar him and his horses from every racetrack in the country. He will never race again. You do own the horse, son?
Yes, sir.
You understand the wager with Mr. Landers? You made it willingly?
Yes, sir. You see, some kinfolk near Baltimore offered to take me in. And, well, I reckon they're on kind of hard times. Leastways, they couldn't come and fetch me after my pa died.
Yes, go on.
Well, I had this $100, and it didn't seem like much for anybody with an extra mouth to feed. But $600, now, that seemed more like a fair amount. Maybe get me some schooling, too.
You see, Squire, Calvin has never ridden in a race before. His horse is untrained. That horse and the $100 is everything this boy has in the world.
He did make the wager, Daniel, and he is a free agent. You understood the risk?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, we all realize you're inexperienced, son, and we don't want you to feel that you're being intimidated. That is, we don't want you to think that you will be made to accept the wager with Mr. Landers if you feel that he has in any way been unfair to you. Now, if you do, now is the time to speak up.
I reckon you'll hold it against me if I say I want to go ahead.
Well, son, as long as you know the facts, it's your decision.
I want to race, sir.
Spoken like a sportsman. All right, then, it's settled. I understand your concern for your young friend, Daniel, but Mr. Landers has some right in the matter, too, and some lessons are best learned early in life. However, I believe it is customary for an impartial referee to hold the stakes in a wager of this sort. You do intend to cover, do you not, Mr. Landers?
Indeed I do, Squire. And at 5 to 1.
Just a minute, Squire. As long as we have to have this race, it seems to me that odds of 5 to 1 against an inexperienced rider and an untrained horse are rather unfair.
Valid point, Mr. Boone. I think 8 to 1 would be proper in the circumstances. Don't you agree, Mr. Landry? The race will be run on the meadow on my property. Any objections, Mr. Landry?
Not for me, sir.
Will 9 o'clock in the morning be acceptable to both parties?
Suits me fine.
Yes, sir.
Then it is settled.
Grateful for your interest, Squire. Well, he looks like he's ready to go.
Sure hope I am.
How do you think he's going to take to this race himself?
He probably won't like it right off, but he'll get used to it.
How are you going to take to it?
Grip harder with my knees.
Cal, I kind of bore down on you this morning, but don't try to remember everything I told you.
Oh, I'll remember. I'll stay low over Gideon's neck so the wind won't slow us down, and I'll hold him in at the start of the race.
Right, it's dangerous to get too far behind, but you have to have something left for a finish. And Cal, stay away from Lander's jockey. Don't let him crowd you. If he's anything like his boss, he'll have a few tricks up his sleeve. I'm just telling you so you'll be prepared and he won't surprise you.
Good morning, Daniel. You two ready for the big race?
Ready as we're going to ever be.
Here, Calvin, something to boost your morale. I'd be proud to have you wear the green silks for your first race. Better get them on right now. It's almost time for the race to start.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll take Gideon on out the middle.
You want me to give that kid a real dusting?
I don't care how you ride this one, Whipper, as long as you win. I can't wait to see the look on that big backwoodsman's face when the barb's foreleg gives way. Yes, get in front and let the boy eat a little dust. Go good.
I wasn't too sure Gideon recognized me in this outfit.
You look fine, boy. Come on, I'll give you a leg up.
Gentlemen, your attention, please. It is now time to race. The course for the race will be this straightaway meadow track. You will start at the pole at this end of the meadow. Race between these poles, around the pole at the other end of the meadow. Back up the track with a final turn around the starting pole to the finish line here. The signal for the race to begin will be a shot from this pistol. Are there any questions, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Take your horses to the starting line.
Good luck, Cal.
Keep that whip to yourself, will you? Gideon's never been touched. It's about time you learned a few things, kid. It's about time you learned a few things, too.
Riders ready? Teacher, Daniel, that boy can ride. Now it's up to the horse. Ride him, boy, ride him. Come on, Carol. Come on, Carol.
You won, Cal. You won, boy. You won, Squire.
You know what that horse would be worth on any track in Virginia, Daniel? $1,000, as he is, without any training.
I reckon he's worth a lot more than that to Cal about now.
He did it, Mr. Boone. He did it easy.
The two of you did, Cal.
Splendid ride, son. Splendid.
Mr. Landis, Gentlemen, let me have your attention, please. I have an important announcement to make. My associate, Mr. Slade, here, has just brought me proof of something he suspected when he first saw the winning animal in this race. I have been betting against my own horse.
What do you mean, Landers?
I mean the Spanish Barb actually belongs to me. Under the circumstances, I declare this race a no contest, and I demand that all the wagers be returned at once.
That's what he's been up to all along. He's been after Gideon right from the start.
This is highly irregular, Landers.
But, Squire, I have the proof right here.
Whatever that is, you cannot declare no contest on your own. That's a matter for the Turf Club Committee.
Yes, Squire, but let them get at it quickly, please. The horse really belongs to me.
Certainly appreciate the time, Squire. It may not be as simple as it seems on the surface.
That's exactly why we organized the club, Daniel. We volunteer our time to settle any disputes as fairly and amicably as possible.
Can't ask for more than that.
Well, gentlemen, I'm happy to say I think this will not take all day. Here's the bill of sale. And I have all the other documents with me.
Gentlemen, I have a bill of sale for a yearling Spanish Barb that was bought in an auction in New Orleans.
Description and date match.
And here is the entry in the diary I make my men keep when they're away on business for me. It clearly states the same horse pulled up lame and was left with a man named Caleb Trevor near the settlement at Boonesboro.
There's no question but what it's the same horse.
Thank you. Now that's settled, we'll take possession of the horse.
Hold on a minute, Landers. Is that the decision of the committee?
I'm afraid so, Mr. Boone.
I'll get the horse.
Why don't we send somebody with him? He and that boy could sneak that horse of mine so far away I'd never see him again.
Contrary to your opinion, Daniel Boone is hardly a thief, Mr. Landers.
Well, Squire, we'll see. But if it comes to that, I'll not hesitate to ask the constable to issue a warrant for their arrest.
I'm afraid you're ahead of yourself, Mr. Landers. Our only concern here is the good name of racing in this community. Whatever legal steps you take is your own affair, Mr. Landers. However, as usual, what you do will be judged by this committee as a measure of your fitness to be an acceptable member of this organization.
I knew you'd outrun that horse, Gideon. Pa was right. And now I'm going to take you away from me. It's not fair. You're my horse. You belong to me. You know, we don't have to race anymore. We don't need racing or towns or any of this. You and me, Gideon, we can make out together. Nobody will be able to stop us. We'll light out of here so fast I'll never know the difference.
I never figured you'd run from trouble.
I'm not going to let them have Gideon.
Cal, you were called upon to become a man real early in life. You've done a real good job up to now.
I don't care what that Mr. Landers says. Gideon doesn't belong to him. When those drovers left him with Pond Me, they gave up claim to him. And now that he's sound again, it's just not fair.
Maybe not. All of what you say is true, Cal. But Landers has a legal claim on that horse. Cal, we've all got to respect and abide by rules, whether we personally like them or not. Otherwise, we're outside the law. And when you're outside the law, you can't expect its protection. So if you take Gideon, we'll all be obliged to come after you.
Mr. Boone, I just can't give him up. My pa said for me to hold on to him.
I knew your pa, Cal. I'm sure he said a lot of things that might help at a time like this. I reckon that's it. I'm sorry you feel that way, Cal.
Mr. Boone? My pa said that a man who couldn't face up to facts when he had to wasn't worth his salt. Mr. Landers? They're coming. Boone and the boy. I'm ready to abide by the committee's decision, Mr. Breen.
All right, son. Whipper, take care of the barb.
Goodbye, Gideon.
Well, now that that's settled, gentlemen, I'd like to buy you all a drink.
There's one thing that's not settled yet, Mr. Landers. The wager.
That's ridiculous. It was a no contest.
Well, now, the way I see it, it was a wager that one horse would beat another. Ownership has got nothing to do with it.
Gentlemen, the decision of the committee is unanimous. In the interest of sportsmanship and fair play, we hold that the race today was a valid contest. And the wager staked shall now be the property of Master Calvin Trevor.
Wait a brief.
You still got the horse at a bargain, Mr. Landers. Of course, if you would be interested in selling...
Just 1 minute, Squire. There's still a small matter of paying this boy for taking care of his horse these past 14 months.
A valid point, Mr. Landers.
All right. At 85 cents a week, $50 ought to take care of it.
That may be the going rate in Williamsburg, but it's different in Kentucky.
Just a minute. How much?
Well, you've got to remember, Mr. Landers, that Kentucky has the finest grass in the country for horses. And then there was a lot of doctrine, medicine, special care, training.
How much?
And you can't forget that this boy brought your horse across country. There's got to be a transportation
How
charge.
much?
Well, I'm not very good at figuring, but say $20 a week, board and care.
$20 a week?
And $100 for transportation.
$100.
Then there's medicine and indoctrine. I think $1,500 might be acceptable to Mr. Trevor. Would that be all right, Cal?
Are you going to stand there and sanction this highway robbery?
Well, your drovers never made an agreement with Mr. Trevor, I understand. Therefore, it seems perfectly proper for Mr. Trevor to present his bill for services rendered.
For $1,500? What? It's more than the horse is worth.
There might be a way of settling this, Mr. Landers. If you were to give Cal here a bill of sale to that horse, he might call the whole thing square.
Sounds like a sensible solution. That is, if it is acceptable to Mr. Trevor.
Boy, it sure is.
If you ever decide to take up horse trading as a profession, Daniel.
Oh, no, Squire. I know better than to consider myself an expert just because I came out all right the first time.
Well, I think the young man got your point, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
You can't expect Gideon to win every race.
Oh, but Gideon can beat any... Yes, sir, I realize.
Now then, do you suppose that your friend Gideon would like to spend the night in my stable?
Hey, that'd be fine.
Well, I'd be honored to have the two of you spend the night with me, too. We could talk about getting Calvin to Baltimore over supper. I might even take him over myself.
Well, now, Squire, you wouldn't have in mind Gideon taking on some of those high steppers in the city.
I might. I just might.
Easy on the powder, we're running low. Your mother's valuables. Quickly. Almost $100. Your mother put it up for you. Cal, she was a thrifty woman. Mine, you'd be the same.
Don't talk, pal. I'll hold them off.
Too many of them. Now, you listen to me, son. A man that won't face fact when he's got to ain't worth his salt. Now, use the tunnel. Take the Spanish horse and make for Boone's burrow and get to Daniel Boone. Your mother had kin near Baltimore. And Dan will help you locate them.
I'm not gonna leave you, Pa.
That horse. That's all I've got to give you. I think his lameness can be fixed. And he may be of some value sometime. Take good care of him, son. And maybe someday he'll take care of you. Son, we've had our times together. Now, get out of here while you still have a chance. Get going. Come on, boy. Get going. Cal. Take care, son.
I'll come back with help as quick as I can, Pa.
Daniel Boone, what a doer, what a dream comer true was he. From the coonskin cap on the top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the redmanest, roaringest, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Oh, Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. Oh, Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. Daniel Boone was a doer, what a dream comer truer was he. Daniel Boone, Daniel Boone.
Mr. Boone! Mr. Boone!
What's wrong, son?
It's Pa, Mr. Boone. Shawnee jumped us right after daylight.
Shawnee?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 of them. Pa got some before he was hit, but He's hit awful bad, Mr. Boone. I'd have gotten here quicker, but Gideon's still pretty lame.
Do you want me to go to the fort for help?
There's no time for that, Becky.
Again!
It's all right. It's likely just some renegades looking for what they can steal.
Dan, Calvin's just a boy. You don't know what you might find.
Caleb Trevor's his father, Becky. There's something a man has to do, even a young one. He'd never forgive himself if he didn't go back. Now, Viz will take care of his horse. Come on, son.
Yes, sir.
Stay here, Cal. I didn't find him, son. He made it to your tunnel somehow.
He's dead? It was all Gideon and I had, Mr. Boone. We were going to do so many things together. I shouldn't have left him.
Cal.
Pa said Gideon would be faster than any of them once we got his limp cured.
And that's a chore you can finish, isn't it?
It won't be the same now.
No. That's the way your pa would want it.
I want to see him.
Believe me, Cal, I know what's best. Something to remember, Cal. Nothing ever ends. It's always the beginning of something else. Why don't you go on down to the creek and wash up, get your wind back? I'll be along directly.
Mr. Boone. He always set store by the shade of that big old tree over there.
Can't think of a likelier place, son.
Dan, are you still at those letters?
Well, I'm almost done.
Think you'll be able to locate Calvin's folks?
Caleb Trevor didn't leave much to go on. I doubt if he heard much from his wife's people after she died. And they may be a little difficult to locate after all this time.
I'm worried about that boy, Dan. I was thinking, if you say so, we can keep him here with us.
We could, and we will, if it comes to that. But he needs his own kin, his own blood. He needs to belong. There's no way we can give him that.
Just concerned about him, that's all.
You know, if I'd give you leave, you'd mother the whole world, Becky Boone. Now, don't worry about Calvin.